Howdy, folks. I'm Lively Little Yellow, loudly laughing with laid-back lemurs.
I'm Amber.
And here are more laid-back lemurs for us to laugh with or laugh at. You decide. Let's get started. All right, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Scolding My Boyfriend for His Remarks About My Little Brothers for Watching Hello Kitty? I'm a 21-year-old female and my boyfriend, a 22-year-old male, have been together for around 3 years. I have 2 little brothers, both under the age of 6, and they're the most happy and energetic kids that I've ever met. They love a lot of different shows and characters, but they especially love Hello Kitty and Spider-Man, but only the Hello Kitty portion is relevant here. Well, I was watching Hello Kitty with them on the couch, and I was babysitting them since my father got a new job, and he works night shifts. I put on the episode they asked for, and we were all watching it and having a good time, and I left them to bring them their toothbrushes. They hate going to the bathroom to brush their teeth. And my boyfriend asked if they really should be watching that. I was really confused and said that it was a kid's show, and he shook his head and clarified that he meant Hello Kitty. I asked why they shouldn't be watching it, and he told me that it wasn't masculine and that they should be raised as men, not girls. I told him that there was nothing feminine or masculine about them, that they're kids, and he just rolled his eyes and said something along the lines of, if you want them to grow up to be girly girls with no backbones as adults, then it's on you. Be prepared for the coming out talk. Well, I told him to be quiet and that I don't even feel like talking to him anymore. I got them ready for bed, and then about an hour later, they were both knocked out in a deep sleep. I went to my room and I got myself prepared for sleep, but I was deeply bothered by his statement. So when we were about to go to sleep, I told him to sleep on the couch, and he told me to stop playing with him, and I told him that I was serious. He looked like he didn't believe me, so I snapped at him. And I told him that it's my siblings that you're talking about here, and why do you care when they're enjoying themselves? He told me that he was sorry very abruptly and closed the door and slept on the couch. It's the next day and he hasn't spoken to me since. Am I the jerk? I feel like I made him really angry because he's never gotten mad at me, and this is the longest period that we've gone without speaking to one another. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think Obie's in the wrong here. I think he has a very unfortunate idea of what masculinity is. I think it's important for people of all genders to be exposed to all types of media. There's nothing about Hello Kitty that makes it inherently girly. Like, yes, like we have this cat who is a female cat and like wears like pink sometimes, but she also has like the red and blue outfit and like.
I mean, it's been around forever.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I watched the show when I was a kid, and I mean, I probably came out like a girly girl, but I mean, I watched a lot of shows. I watched like the Thundercats and Transformers and GoBots and all action shows, He-Man, and also like My Little Pony, the original series, of course, and then like the Care Bears. I really liked the Care Bears when I was a kid. It was one of my favorite shows, right? And I think that it's one of these things where men need to be empathetic, right? You need to learn empathy. Learning empathy is not a weak point. And I think that his statements come across here as very homophobic, where he's like, oh, you are going to have this talk with them someday.
Right. It's like Hello Kitty does not make anyone turn gay.
Yeah. I think we found the cause of gay.
It was Hello Kitty all along.
It was Hello Kitty all along. It stretches back millennia. We finally found the source, right? It's kind of absurd. I mean, the thing is that teaching boys especially, empathy, love, care, all those kinds of things are a good thing. There is a range of human emotions, not just anger and, funny, right? I mean, those are like the 2 emotions that men these days think are acceptable, like laughter and then anger. I mean, and I think that's really sad. I don't think that makes you a healthy individual if you can't experience empathy or if you can't relate to somebody. That doesn't give you a satisfying or fulfilling life. It leaves you confused because you don't understand why everyone thinks you're a jerk, right? So, he needs to probably take some time and watch these shows too, I guess. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Oh, and I just wanted to clarify real quick before moving on. I'm not saying gay is bad either, right?
No, of course.
I mean, I didn't want to come across as that way, of course, right? Like, And he's making it sound like it is a bad thing, right?
Right. It's just a ridiculous take.
And White Apple Rum says, not the jerk, and they're 6. Let them watch and enjoy Hello Kitty at any age, really. The bigger question here, though, is which Hello Kitty series were they watching, and what streaming platform was it where I may possibly find it at? Asking for a fellow Sanrio fan. And OP replies, I just found it on YouTube. It's the episode where Hello Kitty drinks a potion that makes her extremely large or small, I can't really say. And I was scrolling on my phone a lot, and it gets stuck in a house and cries until its tears burst the doors open, and she goes flooded away. You can find a lot of the full episodes on YouTube, but as for what they were watching, I'm 99% sure that it was some type of Alice in Wonderland concept. And Geeky Heart 225 says, not the jerk, do you see a future with this person? If so, you should consider if this is what you want with your own children and what you want them to hear. There's nothing wrong with the kids watching whatever the kids enjoy. My little brother and I watched Gem and Transformers. We're old growing up. And OP replies, honestly, I really do love him, and he's been there during my darkest moments when I was nothing and had nothing, but the way he spoke really disgusted me. I do feel that maybe I shouldn't apologize, and while I've always wanted kids, I know that if someone instilled those views in my kids, I would be devastated, and the same thing goes for my siblings. Those are the big differences in values that can't be glossed over. And it can never be glossed over because it's my brothers being spoken about, and they complete me. Clearly, I've disregarded speaking about the future principles in raising kids. Thank you for your rhetorical question. I clearly have a lot of ironing out to do. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Making My Son Apologize to My Brother? Some context, I have a son, 17, and my daughter, 13. Well, we went to have lunch with my mom and brother the other day. My brother had some wine, he got a little tipsy, and he stared at the waitress. He nudged my son and said, look at that thick booty. My son told him, could you please not talk like that in front of my sister? I felt rather conflicted about it. On one hand, as the guy's sister, I've been embarrassed by his words several times. All of the ogling and comments. I also don't want my daughter to think that such behavior is okay. But I don't want my son speaking to his uncle like that. So I told him to apologize, and he did. But my mom told him that he didn't have to apologize before telling off my brother, saying that he needs to watch his mouth. So also told me that if I don't call him out, at least I shouldn't stop someone from doing so. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you're the jerk. What exactly about what your son said was hurtful? Or, like, it wasn't like he yelled at him, like, hey, bad word, don't talk like that around my sister. Then there might be a conversation around language, like, hey, we don't talk to people like that. But what he said was very polite and respectful, and kids need to be able to disagree with adults when adults do or say things that are wrong or inappropriate. You know, and it's just teaching kids to just never say anything disagreeing to adults is a very, very bad life lesson.
Yeah, well, he needs to understand that what he's saying here is inappropriate, and he's just objectifying these women, and he's doing it publicly and outright, and he needs to know that it isn't okay. And I'm glad the son stood up against him because somebody needs to, right? Mm-hmm. Like the mom said, like the grandma said in this particular case. So I think that OP needs to take a book out of their mom's page, take a page out of their mom's book, rather, and stand up to their brother. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Educational Lime 393 says, you're the jerk, and I'm pleased that your son has more decency than you do. Why on earth should he apologize for calling out such a vile comment? And Lizzie says, you're the jerk. You and your brother. Good for your son and mom. Grow a spine, for goodness sake. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Laughing When My Boyfriend Cried? Well, the other night, my boyfriend and I were in the living room, and he was watching some news segments and documentaries about a current foreign conflict far away. He has been watching a lot of that recently and gets really into it. I honestly do not understand why. Well, at one point, I looked over and I saw that he was crying. Not just misty-eyed, but actual tears running down his face. I kind of laughed without thinking. Not a full-on laugh, but definitely enough that he noticed. I told him that he should probably stop watching those because it does not concern him. He's a grown man and an American, and I just do not see why he would get so emotional over something happening on the other side of the world. If it was a personal loss or someone he knew, of course that would be different. Or if he was watching a sad movie where you would expect people to get teary-eyed, fine. But this was just news and documentaries about something far away that has nothing to do with me. He got upset and said that I was being heartless, and now he is barely speaking to me and acting like I crossed some huge line. I'm wondering if I did actually say something wrong, or if he's just overreacting. It was not meant to be that deep, but I was mostly teasing him. Alright folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you're a major jerk here. And I like how it's okay in your book for people to get teary-eyed over movies, which is totally fine, but fictional, and not get upset about real conflicts in the world that are affecting real people.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing wrong with having empathy and being upset at what is going on in the world.
Yeah. You should have empathy. You should have compassion towards people on the other side of the world. I mean, these are humans, and they're suffering. And the fact of the matter is that I think OP is being heartless. It's easy to distance yourself from the, things that are happening in this world, but him crying about terrible things happening on the other side of the world, true human suffering, true human loss, I think that shows that he's an extremely empathetic individual. And I think that OP should count themselves lucky that they have an individual in their lives who is empathetic and can relate to people. Like, you hear these stories so often about these men who just are completely heartless and cruel. And, I just think she should count herself lucky to have somebody who isn't heartless or cruel, So, I don't know. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Silent Judge says, you're the jerk for doing it. Double, you're the jerk for the reasoning. Wait, so feeling sad for some fictional movie is fine, but heaven forbid you feel some empathy for something happening outside of your country. I'd wish for you to be better or for him to find a better person, but with how low the bar is, I don't think that's necessary. And OP replies, even though it is fictional, movies are directed with sound effects and dramatic acting, so while I wouldn't cry, I would understand why some do. New stuff is just people yapping on and on and on, which is why I do not watch much of it beyond the headlines. Alright folks, our next letter is an update. My husband hit our daughter because he blames her for the divorce. And this one is the pen clicking one. So this was updated from the pen clicking one, where basically he spent the entire ceremony clicking his pen, and OP was like, if you don't apologize to our daughter, I'm going to divorce you.
Yeah, well, because the daughter wasn't talking to him, and so he started telling OP that they needed to take away her college money because she was upset. She has misophonia, and so... and he knew it, and he was just clicking the pen the entire time. And all she did was not talk to him.
Yeah. And thank you to Sakura who sent this one along. Hello Reddit, apologies if this is all over the place, because I'm still reeling from this, and it only happened a little while ago. My husband has been very cruel to me and our eldest daughter recently. And after getting some sense smacked into me, I realized that I needed to divorce him for my daughter's sanity, and his abuse towards her has gone on for years. But I was gaslit into brushing it off, my own fault, I know. Well, this morning, before I left for work, I sat down and I talked with my husband while our kids were still sleeping. I told him that after thinking over all of his actions in the past few years, that our daughter and I can no longer stay in this marriage. He got really upset and was begging me to reconsider, promising to apologize to our daughter and fix his behavior. I said that I still expect him to apologize to her, but my mind was made up. He calmed down after a bit and said that he'll apologize to her. He did a full switch and he seemed happy and optimistic to try and patch things up with her. I felt comfortable leaving for work. Well, 2 to 3 hours into work, I get a call from my oldest son telling me that Dad's gone off the rails and you need to get home. I could hear yelling and crying in the background. I rushed home and my husband was screaming at our daughter. I yelled at him to get away from her and managed to shove him away from her and asked what was going on. He then loudly said that I'm teaching that effing spoiled C a lesson, and tried to push me away and continued yelling at her. I held him back and I told him to get out, and he stormed out. I got the full story from my daughter after I comforted her. She said that her dad woke her up about 2 hours after I left for work, around 9 a.m. and then dragged her out of bed and downstairs. He then started to lecture her on how she was a spoiled brat for causing these issues and how she was weaponizing her mental health to get her own way. He said that clearly his biggest failure as a parent was her, and that he wanted to know what he did wrong to have her turn out like this. When my daughter got visibly upset, he snapped his fingers in her face and yelled at her that she's almost an effing adult and needs to start acting like it. He then told her that if I divorce him and cause her siblings to grow up in a broken home, then it's her fault and that she's basically a home wrecker. My oldest daughter came downstairs from the yelling and that my sister was having a panic attack from the noise and yelling. My son tried to take his sister to her room, but my husband grabbed her and kept her downstairs. She swung at them, and then according to my son and daughter, my husband and her got into a physical fight. That's when my son called me and told me to come home. I took my daughter to the ER because her lip was split and her cheekbone had a nasty bruise on it. A police report has been filed, and I don't know where my husband is staying. He texted me saying that his biggest regret is, quote unquote, letting you carry that spoiled brat to term. My husband has never acted like this before. He's always been a goofy man, and when he would get angry, he would just get quiet and ignore people. This is the first time that he's ever put his hands on any of us. I'm going to start the divorce proceedings, but they take a long time in our state. I just needed to write everything out. We're now home, and my daughter is very cheerful and has been spending time downstairs with me and her siblings. They're all playing on the Nintendo right now, and she's laughing and talkative with them. All right, folks, what do you think of this?
Oh, I'm just glad the divorce is happening. It is so horrible. What a horrible turn of events.
Well, the fact that he turned, like he switched on her like this, right? And it just kind of goes to show that it was all an act, right?
Yeah, like this entire time, he has just been resenting his daughter and acting like, oh, I can't help it. I can't control this. And when really he just hates her for one reason or another.
Well, he hates her because she has mental health struggles, and he refuses to understand what those health struggles are and what to do to accommodate her. So I think this actually just shows that for this whole time that he's been purposely doing this, right? The whole ceremony, when he clicked his pen the entire time, it was literally just to get on her nerves. So this is a horrifying situation, and I feel so bad for her. I'm glad now that she doesn't have to deal with him, and hopefully she can get like a restraining order against him because he has turned violent here, right? Like, I don't even know if the court is going to grant him visitation with the fact that he's physically abusive.
Well, hopefully not. And hopefully her siblings are old enough that they get to decide and that they'll stay away from him.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it's tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
Which biology teaching tool gets the most laughs?
Oh, I would say probably the biology tool written by Dave Barry. It's a book, and it's about biology, and it's not made up at all, but it's extremely funny because Dave Barry pulled the weirdest, most obscure biology facts out of the textbooks and stuff like that.
The pun it's square.
Ah, I see.
And it's National Tell a Joke Day.
Oh, so go tell a joke, like Amber did. And I have the special guest tea. I have some Forever Nuts again. It's what my nickname in high school was. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on empathy.
Empathy should be encouraged in people of all genders.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.